So now that we've described mom brain and decision fatigue, let's talk about why it happens. So a few years ago, there was a post that went viral, and it talked about all the reasons why moms are exhausted. It wasn't because they were doing everything, but it was that moms are holding all the decisions in their heads. And the post went viral because it was so spot on. And I remember reading it and thinking that uh, everything in there described perfectly why moms are so exhausted. So let's talk about 3 things that can lead to mom brain and decision fatigue. So, number 1 is all the little things. And it really is all the little things that distract us and change our focus. But these little things need to be taken care of. For example, so as I was writing this post/show, the baby is coming up to tickle me, and I'm also trying to keep her from taking all the diapers out of the box. So, distracted from what I need to do and trying to keep the diapers all in one place. But it also can be reminding your kids of the next thing that they need to do every single day. And if you're a homeschool mom, I think it compounds, because if you send your kids to school, you at least have a few hours during the day where you're not being asked questions or reminding them to do something that you've told them to do the day before and the day before that and the day before that. So you get the idea. Or it's figuring out what to have for dinner or what you need from the grocery store. All of these little things just add up. And it's feeling like you're constantly distracted from everything. You're distracted from your clients, you're distracted from your kids, and you feel like you can never focus on just one thing. Like Mr. Han said in Karate Kid, your focus needs more focus. Well, moms, you don't have that luxury. So, and let's not forget, while we're talking about our focus needing more focus, all the questions. Yes, all of those questions. And then multiply them by how many kids you have. Because you're constantly being asked big questions, little questions, and all the in-between questions. And they all require an answer from you. Yeah. So let's sigh, take a deep breath, let's get some coffee. Okay. So here's the thing about all the little things. They are important. These things need your attention. And when you add them all up, they become big things that need your attention. And that is how they lead to mom brain and decision fatigue. All these little things pile on. Number 2, remembering for everyone else. Do you ever feel like you have to hold everyone else's brains in your own brain? That's the best way I can describe it. And I do, because moms do this best. We are so skilled at this kind of thinking. So keeping everything running on task and showing up on time. Although you may not be doing the task physically, it's remembering what the kids need, making sure they walk out the door with it. That's always a big one. They may remember what they need, but not walk out the door with it. And keeping everyone on track is exhausting. Okay, you have a lot going on. And the whole reason for the show is to give you permission to feel those feelings of overwhelmed, feel those feelings of frustration, all the feelings that come with doing this. Embrace that you cannot make another decision. It's okay. All of us moms have been there or are there or will be there again. So it's holding everyone else's schedule and to-dos in your head leads to mom brain and decision fatigue. It causes you to reach the point of, I cannot add one more thing to my plate or my plate will break. Number 3, I'm going to state the obvious. You're exhausted. It's just a point of fact. Now, I've said in other shows, I don't think being busy should be worn as a badge of honor or social proof as to your mad mom skills. But if you have a large family or even a medium-sized one, like, you are just busy. You are working from home, homeschooling your kids, you are exhausted. And whether you have older kids, younger kids, or your ages run the gambit, all these ages bring their own kind of tired. So for younger kids, you're more physically exhausted because you're running around trying to keep them out of things and just to keep up with them. And even though they're small, those little legs can really get them into trouble really fast. So you're physically exhausted. With older kids, it's more emotionally exhausting because you're helping them work through big things and bringing them to maturity and to adulthood. So it's emotionally exhausting. And then if you run the gambit of ages, like I do, my oldest is 16, my youngest is 2. If you run the gambit, then you're physically and emotionally exhausted all the time. So